My name is Lwandle Simelane. I'm from the Eswatini National Commission for UNESCO, Secretary General. It is an honor to be a part of this important conference on artificial intelligence for information accessibility. It is very encouraging that we are gathered here to discuss the power of technology and the values and ethics that shape it. As we have seen, artificial intelligence is transforming every aspect of the human life, from how we learn, how we teach, how we share, and how we preserve information and knowledge. It holds the extraordinary potential to bridge divides. However, if not correctly and carefully guided, it has the potential to widen them. At the center of this transformation lies the critical question of representation of language, representation of demographics, representation in culture. I want us to take a look at the importance of representation of languages. Language is more than just a tool of communication. It is a vessel of identity, of knowledge, and of memory. Yet many of our artificial intelligence systems today privilege a small number of dominant global languages. If African languages such as Siswati are excluded from artificial intelligence models, our people are excluded from the future of digital knowledge. This not only risks marginalization, but also the erosion of intangible cultural heritage carried through our words, our proverbs, our oral traditions. UNESCO has repeatedly emphasized multilingualism as a pillar of information accessibility. For Eswatini and for many nations in Africa, investing in artificial intelligence that understands and respects local languages is not just a technological necessity. It is a cultural imperative. I also want to get into demographics. AI cannot be neutral if the data it learns from is incomplete. If algorithms are trained primarily on data from certain regions, populations, or socioeconomic groups, the resulting technologies will inevitably reflect those biases. And importantly, it is crucial that these data comes from our nations, our stories. In Africa, where over 60% of the population is under the age of 25, the demographic realities are unique. For artificial intelligence to be relevant to us, it must be shaped by the youth voices and serve youth needs in education, employment, health, and innovation. Equally important is the inclusion of women, rural communities, and persons with disabilities. These groups must not remain on the margins of digital development. If they're invisible in the AI data, they will remain invisible in AI solutions. Bias in, bias out. Representation here is not a matter of fairness alone. It is a matter of ensuring the effectiveness and sustainability of artificial intelligence. It is important that we exercise inclusion when we exercise digital advancement to ensure that everyone is included in the solutions with precision. I want to also talk about representation and culture. Culture gives meaning to our lives. It informs our ethics, our traditions, and our way of seeing the world. But culture is also highly diverse. And if AI systems are not attuned to this diversity, they risk flattening out our identities into a single narrative. For Eswatini, culture is central to our identity, our ceremonies, our heritage sites, our history, our crafts, and our ways of knowing. These are not relics of the past. They are living, evolving contributions to humanity. AI must not erase them, but instead must help preserve, digitize, and share them responsibly. We must move with the times. UNESCO's 2003 Convention on the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage reminds us that traditions, languages, and customs are part of our collective wealth. AI can support this by safeguarding, but only if cultural representation is consciously embedded in its design. Colleagues, experts, representation is not just a technical question, it is a governance question. How do we ensure that AI is guided by ethics, inclusivity, and accountability? How do we ensure that our countries, our communities are represented and not left behind as we develop our artificial intelligence systems? UNESCO has taken a leading role through the recommendation of the ethics of artificial intelligence, which was adopted in the year 2021. This landmark framework calls on all nations to place human rights on the forefront, human dignity and diversity at the heart of artificial intelligence governance. It is important that we take the responsibility to not just be consumers, but also contribute to these technologies as African nations. So in Eswatini, we really are advocating for artificial intelligence that reflects African voices and promotes local languages, promotes inclusion, participation of youth, women, rural, and marginalized groups. We encourage cultural sensitivity in artificial intelligence that ensure that the technology reflects, preserves, and not erase our cultural heritage. So building local capacity is crucial. And I call on all of us to really invest, particularly when it comes to educators, because sustainability does start with educators. So I want us as researchers, as policymakers, to really contribute and not just consume these technologies. In conclusion, let us remember that technology is never neutral. It reflects the data, the values, and the choices of its creators. The future of artificial intelligence will therefore depend on those whose voices are heard, whose identities are recognized, and whose cultures are on the forefront. So I urge all of us to put our voices and our resources together to ensure representation, particularly of our youth, and ensure that they have the skills, the digital skills, the access to information, and are able to innovate and build a sustainable future. With that being said, as we all know, if you want to destroy nations, destroy their language, destroy their culture. And we have the responsibility to ensure that our languages, our culture, our demographics are represented as we develop technologically and as we work towards artificial intelligence. With that being said, thank you very much for the opportunity to be a part of this amazing conference.